Welcome to Foundation Friday. The dedication and covenant of silent unity was signed on December 7th, 1892 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement. It is unlikely when they signed this covenant that they had any idea how far-reaching unity would be as it evolved into the church we know and love today. We invite you to join us as we explore and share some of the original ideas, teachings, and writings of the men and women who created the foundation of the Unity Church.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us today for our Foundation Friday program. If you've watched this program before, you know that we like to go back in time and review and relearn some of the wisdom that was shared with us by the founders of the Unity movement. Well, today we're not going that far back in time. We are looking at the works of Eric Butterworth. Mr. Butterworth was a Unity minister, a teacher, and an author, and his works have been used to teach and train Unity ministers, prayer chaplains, spiritual leaders for decades. Now, when this was written, it was actually written for fall, and it's winter now when I'm taping it. But I enjoyed the lesson here so much. I think whatever time of year you find it, you'll enjoy it. This and other works by Eric Butterworth and many of the Unity leaders are preserved for you and offered free of charge at truthunity.net. It's one of my favorite resources. I hope you'll use it. So here we go. This is How to Fall Upward Through Life. And this speech talk was offered by Eric Butterworth on September 28th in 1975. How to Fall Upwards Through Life. Here we go. It's the fall of the year. And isn't that an interesting word? In the falling leaves, there seems to be an evidence of death, while actually it's a sign of vital life. A dying tree loses its leaves slowly. The falling leaves show forth an activity of growth as the new leaves within are pushing the old ones out. We say of someone, he fell flat on his face, which is our judgment of failure. But what is this kind of falling to a mature person? The goal of life is to grow. And how better to grow than through seeming failure? Missing the mark is a part of the process of learning how to hit the target. One who is not prepared to cope with failure tends to be inhibited. He rarely attempts ventures where failure is a possibility, which cripples his creativity and imagination. Romantic relationships usually have their genesis in what we call falling in love. We may be deluded that the ecstasy of this love experience is the sure guarantee that two people were meant for each other, whereas they may have nothing going for them except for a mutual passion. What we have failed to account for is that we are always in love, for we are all creatures born in and of love of the infinite. Thus, what we call falling in love may really be a form of falling from love, an ego trip of sensuality, a fall from the inner-centered love. Now, this fall from love may well be inevitable as the starting place in any relationship. We are whole creatures, and our involvement in loving may well seek the lowest common denominator as a point for a beginning. But after the fall, there must be a rising in love if there is to be an evolution of a spiritual union. Falling in love is easy. Some do it often. Rising in love requires commitment and the selfless effort to be a helpmate to another, to help him grow into oneness with his Christ self. Mankind's first awakening to consciousness is symbolized by the allegory of Adam and Eve eating of the forbidden fruit. Theologically, this has been the basis for the idea of the fall of man, with the implication that from that time forward, man has always been and is born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Actually, this is not a fall, except in the sense that the inner potentialities were pushing through the limitations, just as new leaves push out the old ones. Actually, Genesis depicts two creations. The first chapter deals with the involuntary creation. All things were created in God's image and likeness, and it was good and very good. The second and ensuing chapters deal with the process of evolution which was involved. This evolution was not a downward fall. Hegel calls it the fall upward. It is the ceaseless process of the unfolding or outforming of that which is always enwrapped in every person. The principle is no matter where you may be or what you may be experiencing, you are never less than a spiritual being. Adam and Eve in the allegory were driven from the garden not by God's vindictiveness, but by the working of divine law. St. Augustine says, perfection begins in the awareness of imperfection. Adam and Eve looked at themselves and saw that they were naked and unworthy. Thus began the long quest for self-awareness and worthship. But the truth was dimly perceived by the prophets and fully revealed by Jesus. No matter where one is in the process of evolution, in the principle of law, he is perfect. Christ in you, the hope of glory. The Garden of Eden story implies that as a man emerges into consciousness, he discovers the law of mind action, which says, where you are in experience is a certain reflection of where you happen to be in consciousness. Thus, wherever you are in your right place, not necessarily your true place. Your true place is where you can be by reason of the God-man involved in you. But your right place is where you happen to be at any time, the place that corresponds to your mentality at the moment. Adam and Eve hid when God called, Adam, where are you? Adam thought God was accusing him, but he was really trying to show him the way out of his predicament. It was like Jesus asking Peter, who do you say that I am? Adam's answer could have been, I am the Christ, the Son of the living God. Then there would have been no fall at all, for there would have been the realization that he was also in his true place. We may be in that Adam predicament, running around trying to solve our problems. Actually, we are trying to find our problem. This was the story of Job. When he found his problem, he realized that he was his own problem. And when Job changed his attitude towards himself, he changed everything. A favorite affirmation of the news site is, wherever I am, God is. And this is a helpful realization. But even if I know that God is with me, I may still feel unworthy and cover my nakedness. The key to Adam's dilemma and ours is I am. all capital letters. I like to alter the affirmation to wherever I am, I am. In other words, no matter where I am in my experience, I am the activity of God expressing as me. Even in a partial expression, the wholeness of me is present, and Christ in me is my hope of glory, of healing, of overcoming, and of success. Thoreau once quipped, "Men will lie on their back talking about the fall of men and never make an attempt to get up." The getting up, the resurrection and healing, and beginning again is really what life is all about. We may lie moaning about our problems, wondering why, like Job. We may say, what is the meaning of it all? But meaning is found in accepting where you are as evidence of your consciousness at the moment. This is to assume responsibility for your consciousness and its manifestations. And then realizing that despite your limited awareness of the moment, you are created in God's likeness and image. You admit that you are in your right place, but you press in on your faith to your true place, and you realize that there could have been no gaining of the true place without your particular fall, by which you could rise on the stepping stones of your dead self to higher things. Certainly, things may happen in the changing of the seasons or the fluctuations of the market, or even seeming to fall into bad luck or hard times. But these things are simply what is happening to you or around you. All that counts is what happens in you. If, while you fall into your right place, you keep the vision of your true place, you will tend to transcend the outer experience, and it will be a fall upward in growth. Okay, so that's our lesson from Eric Butterworth, How to Fall Upwards. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. Before we go, please know you matter. You are sacred, and you are so, so very loved. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.